Visuals, aerial shots of Jerusalem, Dome of the Rock at sunrise, old streets of Jerusalem, then quick cuts to Gaza ruins, protests, checkpoints. This land has carried the footsteps of prophets, the prayers of millions, and the weight of a conflict that has shaped modern history. For centuries, Palestine was a crossroad of cultures and faiths, Muslims, Christians, and Jews living side by side under different empires. Yet today, it stands divided, wounded, and watched by the world. To understand why, we must travel back in time, before wars, borders, and political speeches, to the roots of a collision that still echoes across generations. Scene 2. Ancient and Ottoman Era, 1 o'clock to 2:30. Visuals, old maps, Ottoman-era photographs, markets in Jerusalem, rural Palestinian villages. For hundreds of years, Palestine was part of the Ottoman Empire. Communities lived with their unique identities, but there was no sharp division. Cities like Jerusalem, Jaffa, and Hebron were home to Muslims, Christians, and Jews. Daily life was about family, trade, faith, and farming. The land was not peaceful in every moment, but it was shared. Then, in the late 19th century, powerful forces began reshaping this region, forces born far away from Palestine. Scene 3. Rise of Nationalisms, 2:30 to 4:30. Visuals, photos of Theodor Herzl, early Zionist congresses, European pogrom footage, Palestinian intellectuals of the early 1900s, British soldiers entering Jerusalem. A new movement emerged in Europe, Zionism, a call for a Jewish homeland in the historic land of Israel. It grew as Jews faced discrimination, pogroms, and rising fear. At the same time, Palestinians also began to develop a modern national identity, proud of their connection to the land they had lived in for generations. Two national dreams were growing, one seeking safety and return, the other seeking protection of home and identity. These dreams would soon collide. Scene 4. The British Mandate and Balfour Declaration, 4:30 to 6:30. Visuals, Balfour Declaration document, British rule in Palestine, early Jewish migration, Palestinian protests from 1920s-30s. After World War I, the Ottoman Empire collapsed and Britain took control of Palestine. In 1917, Britain issued the Balfour Declaration, supporting a national home for the Jewish people in Palestine, but also claiming it would not harm the rights of the Arab majority living there. These two promises were impossible to balance. Jewish immigration increased dramatically, and Palestinian concerns grew. Tensions rose, clashes erupted, and trust between communities eroded. The stage was set for a larger conflict. Scene 5. Holocaust, UN Partition. In 1948, 6:30 to 9 o'clock. Visuals, Holocaust memorial footage, refugee ships arriving in Palestine, UN partition plan maps, 1948 war footage, Palestinian refugees fleeing. The horrors of the Holocaust pushed the world to strongly support a Jewish homeland. In 1947, the United Nations proposed dividing Palestine into two states, one Jewish, one Arab. Jewish leaders accepted the plan. Palestinian and Arab leaders rejected it, arguing that it took land from the majority population. When Israel declared independence in 1948, war broke out with neighboring Arab states. The result was devastating. More than 700,000 Palestinians were displaced in what they call the Nakba, the catastrophe. Israel gained more land than the UN plan had given it. Gaza came under Egyptian control, the West Bank under Jordan. The homeland Palestinians knew had fractured overnight. Scene 6. The 1967 War and Occupation, 9 o'clock to 11 o'clock. Visuals, 1967 Six-Day War archival footage. Israeli tanks, captured territories maps, Palestinians living under occupation. In 1967 came another turning point. Israel fought Egypt, Jordan, and Syria in the Six-Day War, capturing the West Bank, Gaza, East Jerusalem, and other territories. Millions of Palestinians now lived under Israeli military occupation. Israel called it a security necessity. Palestinians saw it as the loss of their remaining land. Jerusalem was annexed. Settlements soon appeared, slowly changing the map. What was once a temporary occupation began to take root for decades. Scene 7. Intifadas and peace efforts, 11 o'clock to 13 o'clock. Visuals. First Intifada street protests. Stone-throwing youth. Oslo Accords signing ceremony. Handshake between Rabin and Arafat. Hopes of peace. Years of frustration exploded in 1987 with the First Intifada, a mass Palestinian uprising demanding freedom and an end to occupation. The world took notice, and a peace process was launched. The 1993 Oslo Accords created the Palestinian Authority and gave Palestinians limited self-rule in parts of the West Bank and Gaza. There was hope, real, powerful hope, that two states could emerge. But settlements grew, mistrust deepened, and violence returned. The dream of peace began to fade. Scene 8. Gaza, Hamas, and blockade, 13 o'clock to 15:30. Visuals. Gaza streets, Hamas rallies, Israeli airstrikes, destroyed buildings, border fences, tunnels. Narration. In 2005, Israel withdrew its settlements from Gaza but kept control of its borders, sea, and airspace. A year later, Hamas won Palestinian elections, and a violent split with Fatah left Gaza under Hamas control. Israel and Egypt imposed a blockade, saying it was necessary to limit weapons. Palestinians say it turned Gaza into an open-air prison. Repeated wars followed, each one causing deep civilian suffering and further political division. Gaza became one of the most unstable and tragic flashpoints of the conflict. Scene 9. Current reality. Two peoples, one land, 15:30 to 18 o'clock. Visuals. Side-by-side shots of Israeli towns under sirens, Palestinian families under rubble, checkpoints, settlements growing, peace activists on both sides. Narration. Today, the conflict is not only political, it is emotional, generational, and deeply personal. Israelis live with memories of persecution, fear of attacks, and a desire for security. Palestinians live with displacement, occupation, and the fight for dignity and freedom. Two peoples with historic ties to the same land, carrying pain that is impossible to ignore. Attempts at negotiations have failed again and again. Every year, both sides grow more skeptical and more lives are caught in the middle. Scene 10. Closing. What the future holds, 18 o'clock to 20 o'clock. Visuals. Children from both sides, peaceful marshes, olive trees, people rebuilding, night skyline over Jerusalem. Narration. The story of Palestine and Israel is not just history, it is happening right now. It is a story of identity, trauma, hope, and heartbreak. It is a story where politics have overshadowed humanity and where ordinary people, families, children, elders bear the heaviest price. Solutions exist, but they require courage, empathy, and a willingness to see the other side as human. Because this land is more than borders on a map, it is a place of memories, faith, and longing. And only when those memories are honored and those longings respected can peace become more than a distant dream.